What's good, beautiful people? It's your girl Tay, and I'm here yet again with another update video. So definitely make sure you guys smash that like button, comment down below, subscribe, plus push your post notification bell button so that way anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. So you guys have to excuse me. I will be sniffling a lot, just like that, because I've got a sinus infection going on right now. So I am feeling a little bit under the weather, which is why I didn't put out a video yesterday, you guys. I am still trying to boost up my immune system and get myself back to 100% capacity. But I'm just really fighting the strains of what's going on with my body right now. But on that note, I just wanted to let you guys know that. So bear with me, please. I did want to talk to you guys about what's going on with the IRS, as well as what's going on with the $1,400 stimulus checks. They've released a payment date. You guys, I'm pretty sure you guys already have that information, but we're going to go over that anyway, okay? So it says there was an additional backlog of tax returns created by the pandemic. While the IRS workers have been back at work for a while, there is always a chance this is still impacting your return. So we know that's impacting everybody's return. They had already mentioned that they were behind with 2019 paper returns, and then they started accepting the 2020 returns, as well as having to distribute the new stimulus check payments, okay? Now, typically it takes the IRS around 21 days to process a return after it's been accepted if you've filed it electronically. You guys know that if you mail in your return, it can take up to 3 additional weeks because the IRS has to manually enter in your return into the system first. You should count another week into your time estimate if you request your refund as a check rather than a direct deposit, okay? For the 2020 tax returns, the IRS had originally planned on issuing about 90% of the refunds within the 21 days of e-filing, okay? It says some refunds could actually come within 14 days. I know a lot of people were saying that last year, or usually takes them about 14 days or 2 weeks for them to receive their return. But because of the pandemic and all of the strife that has caused, there's a lot of people who have been laid off, people who were sick, or people who had children that were not in school. But there are various reasons. They are understaffed, and each IRS representative has just an extremely heavy workload. So there's just not enough workers right now to carry the load, if that makes any sense. They're trying to say that the closure did not significantly affect the processing time for returns filed electronically, but we all know that that is not true, because if you were like me, I filed on the 12th. I actually processed my documents with my tax preparer previous or prior to the 12th, but they submitted it on the 12th, which was the first day that the IRS opened up to start accepting tax returns for tax year 2020. But me, along with millions of other people, were actually resequenced out into a backlog, or I don't know, I don't even know, some offshore file. I don't know. I'm talking off the top of my head for this part, but I do know that we were basically resequenced back into the system, for whatever the reason, because there were a lot of people that came and did their taxes after that date and received their tax returns prior. And it didn't have anything to do with whether or not you claimed the earned income tax credit or the any of the other credits that usually falls under the PATH Act. These are people who had claimed those credits plus used the look back credit and still got their returns. Some of them got them back in less than a week. Okay, so it says here, one tangible thing to remember is that the IRS does not accept tax returns before a certain date, which I also know is false, because they were accepting tax returns. Whether or not they were holding on to them in order to start processing them when they finally opened on the 12th is another thing. But I do know that they opened for whatever reason. I know there was a lot of people on various different sites and blogs that were saying that they submitted their tax returns in a test batch. I don't know what that means, but either way it go, if you file on the early side and claim the earned income tax credit or the additional child tax credit, you will have to wait for a bit for a refund. So everybody had to wait this year. Okay, here's what it is. If you receive tax topic 152, don't be alarmed, don't be afraid, don't be worried. They are making some adjustments. They're trying to say that they need to make some adjustments, but what you should just remember, because of the pandemic, is if you have tax topic 152, it is just a generic message that basically states or explains how long they would like to be able to work on your refund and get it processed. It basically should say that 9 out of 10 people generally receive their tax refunds within 21 days. Okay, that obviously didn't happen this year. So even if you don't have tax topic 152, it still doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your return. I can tell you from experience with my particular return that, again, I filed between February 12th I filed on February 12th. It was accepted February 12th, but I did not receive my return until 28 days later. Okay. Now, I know some people have gone on 38 days, 36 days, 45 days. They are still waiting. Again, it's possible that if you filed early, or even if you didn't file early, you are just going to have to wait. I know that they're telling people that you need to wait a minimum of 10 weeks from the date you were accepted. So some people were a little bit confused on that and thinking that they needed to wait an additional 10 weeks if they've already waited 21 days. No, it's 10 weeks altogether from the date that you filed. You have to be in the system in order for them to be able to give you any information about your return. So you can call after you've reached the 21-day mark. If it has been 21 days, you are allowed to call. But most times they would just tell you to wait 10 weeks completely, because other than that, there's nothing really that they can do. They're not permitted to give you any information. They can't give you any information if your documents have not been uploaded into the system, okay? All right, so that is it when it comes to the taxes. There were some other important things. Let's talk about what's going on with Social Security. Okay. So it says the government will issue $1,400 stimulus checks to Social Security and other federal beneficiaries who did not or do not typically file tax returns starting this weekend. According to the IRS and Treasury Department, most of those payments will be sent electronically and received on April 7th, the agency said. Social Security and other federal beneficiaries who do not normally file tax returns can expect their $1,400 stimulus payments will be issued this weekend, okay? So today is the 31st of March. So this weekend, is actually, I believe, the 4th and the 5th, or the 3rd and the 4th, something like that. So some of you guys should be receiving your $1,400 stimulus payments this weekend. The IRS and Treasury Department actually issued this out yesterday. The majority of the payments will be sent electronically and received on April 7th, the government agency said. The news comes after the Social Security Administration last week sent payment information to the IRS for the estimated 30 million people that had been left behind. The IRS is now in process of validating those records and verifying the payments are made for the correct amount and to the recipients who are eligible for the money. Now, another thing that I wanted to let you guys know, sidebar, for the Golden State stimulus, because a lot of people were asking about that. That is just for California. I talked about a $600 tax rebate. That was just for New Mexico. These specific extra $600 payments are for the state, by the state, and not every state has decided to do that as of now. California recently did that for Californians, and then New Mexico decided to do a $600 tax rebate for their residents, okay? This update applies to people who receive Social Security supplemental income or railroad retirement benefits who have not submitted either 2019 or 2020 tax returns and who did not use the IRS non-filer tool last year, okay? Again, the majority of those payments will be sent electronically and received on April 7th, either through direct deposits or payments to the Direct Express cards. Okay, the IRS is still receiving data for Veteran Affairs beneficiaries. A payment date for those for when those people will receive their stimulus checks will be announced soon, the agency said. VA beneficiaries who do not typically file tax returns could have their stimulus checks dispersed by mid-April, the IRS estimates. Okay, so I think that's good news. I know a lot of people who are beneficiaries of the, the Social Security, SSI, any of those other governmental agencies that issue supplemental income, have been waiting patiently to receive their benefits. So I definitely think that this is good news that you guys are going to be receiving your stimulus payments pretty soon. Okay. Other than that, you guys, I did want to go over the name of the states that have been approved. You guys have to excuse me. Like I said, as you can tell, I'm definitely not at my best today, but I just could not risk losing another day and not giving you guys a video. I wanted to make sure that even if you guys have other sources, because we all have other sources when it comes to getting our news, that you guys are I'm still being as consistent as I can possibly be, okay? So I definitely wanted to come on here and update you guys. I know that in terms of pandemic EBT, I think we're now up to about 30 states who are currently distributing or plan on distributing pandemic EBT for the 2020-2021 school year. So I wanted to update you guys on those names. So as of right now, we have Arizona, Connecticut, Delaware, DC, Florida, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Puerto Rico, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. So those are all the names of the states that have currently been approved for pandemic EBT. I still have not seen anything when it comes to emergency max SNAP allotments for the month of April. I'm not sure if the United States Department of Agriculture is going to continue to update that. I'm really not sure if they're going to put that information out. I've noticed that no one else has been speaking about that month either. So that information just hasn't become available, which is kind of strange because today is the last day of March. And that information for some states, at least I would say 10 to 15 states would have been available by now, but it's not. So I'm definitely going to keep looking for that. But when it comes to the IRS and the Where's My Refund tool and all of you guys who are still stressing and waiting, I do know that for some people, they will be sending out some app or have already been sending out documentation requesting that you guys verify your identity. Now, the number that I use, because again, this is a question that I get asked pretty frequently, is 1-800-829-0922. I press the option that asks if I have received a document or a letter in the mail from the IRS. No, I have not received a letter or a document, but you want to follow the prompts for that and try to call when they're about to close. So I generally call when I was calling, and I did get through all, 4 or 5 days that I called in a row. I would call between the hours of 5 to 7. The IRS is open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you want to try to call them closer to the time that they are closing. Okay. Now for everybody, it's going to be different. Because we're all in different states, we're all on different time zones. I've said this before, so there's a lot less calls in the queue later on in the evening, all right? So I hope this information was in some way helpful or useful. I do apologize again, you guys. I am just not feeling all that great. I'm going to go and lay my body down and rest. And I will definitely see you guys, though, tomorrow. I'm pretty confident I'll be a little bit better tomorrow. But I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. Remember to live, love, and elevate. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.